of you are dealing with the heat, and I'm having special problems with dehydration these days. And then sun all day. And when I come in, I just die. And then time got by, and I do apologize. No excuse, but just an explanation as to why I'm late. Not that in any way disrespect. In fact, my respect for this organization grows as time goes on. I'm going to tell you why. You know, this organization has always said, you just said it, we are nonpartisan. We are here to promote the candidates that can do the job and that have the people's interest at heart, no matter what side of the aisle that is. And I got to tell you, more and more as I'm involved as mayor and in politics, I believe that is the way that we all ought to go. I am honestly at a point where Republicans, Democrats, they all have their strengths and they all have their weaknesses. And so if we can start to do what you're doing and look at our candidates, not by party, not by party affiliation, and not by just the empty promises they make, but what they do and where their heart is. And I'm going to tell you, I'm looking around this room and I'm seeing some candidates. I know their heart's in the right place. And I know that throughout your discussion tonight, and when you listen to them tonight, you're going to be able to discern those who are the real deal and those that are not. So thank you. So, and Ron's been excellent at doing this. Anyway, Ron and I have had many conversations, and he'll say, well, you know, that person, she or he is the real deal. And we don't really care what party they're in. We are going to get behind that person. And then that's what you've done. And you've made a difference. And that is really, you know, we look at our city, we look at our Commonwealth, we look at the country, and we're just so divided in a way that is not healthy. We want to be, you know, have a winners and losers. The truth is, you know, we all can be winners if we work together and we're willing to understand how to disagree without being disagreeable and continue to promote those people whose heart are in the right place. And so again, thank you all for being here. I want to thank the candidates. I'm going to tell you, being out there running for office is, I don't know that if you haven't run for office, if you really can quite understand what it's like. It kind of reminds me, my first job was, I was a student activities director at Great Bridge High School. And my major job as student activities director was to do the annual homecoming, the dance, the parade, all of the stuff. And so that was the first experience where I knew that my work was going to be judged by public display, by the outcome of that. And so that is the same case for those people that are running for public office. You're going to be judged by your outcome, and you're putting it out there. You're saying, okay, I'm willing to put it out there for you to judge. And, you know, sometimes that's pretty, sometimes that's ugly. But I do believe those that are here tonight, it's going to end up being beautiful. So thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I just want to give just a few minutes to allow
Let me thank all of you for coming. This is really important when election time comes. I'm asking y'all to look at the candidates, not the vote. Look at the candidates, what to do for them. So our church meeting started about 20 minutes. But I'm going to talk about one really briefly, that's soccer one. Example, you take, let me talk about the person who's kind of Democrat. Hey, Steve, come here, Steve. Let's raise your hand. Raise your hand, Steve. And take Steve. So I'm gonna do a little Democratic Republican. So Steve, I was gonna have Steve is a good person. See, if I had $15,000, I'd give it to you. So he's a good person. Someone said, listen, hey, I'm a Democrat, whatever it is, that's Steve. Give him a hand, please. The main problem is this, is that we have a person who's commissioned level, all right? Here's this right here, not no party. I'm saying to help a person that came to churches, not because she's a Republican or Democrat. That's an independent person. I've named two. Let's take Kim Brown Church, the Mount. People who couldn't pay the taxes. Take the car, take the Republican. Take the house, take the Republican. They went to her, and she helped them out. You see, no party, commission revenue. Sucker this. When Barbara Caraway, my friend who was in a mess, they have a problem health-wise, in her office, she took 2 or 3 of her employees to help straighten that office up. And last thing, take my church. She came to my church, but Nichols came to my church, and we had to bid on a problem. We had a parking problem at my church on Landon Avenue. We had an old house. We were trying to bid for it. We put in the wrong email address. And because for her, we were trying to get that parking for 15 years. Because for her to come to my church, she didn't come as a Republican or Democrat. She come to help out the church. You see, and because of her, we were able to get that park next door, come by my church to look at it. You see, other candidates. So the kids is right here. I'm not here as a Republican or Democrat. I'm here as Lionel Screw, saying, look out for those who will look out for you. So my candidate now, I have already said to her, I'm her co-campaign manager. So let me ask y'all this. Look at that, and look at the sheriff race. That's important. Look at those who can do things for you. So I am so grateful to this organization because you invite all candidates to come here. You'll say, hey, you say nonpartisan. Yes, some of these are. But look at the candidates, and that's why I'm here to say to y'all, please, Steve is my candidate, support Steve. I'm here to say, look out for the shit. I'm her co-campaign man. That's what it is. I can lock a person in this room. I can't say if I get in trouble, but a person in this room is running for sheriff. He's my friend. Y'all have a nice day.
Is there anyone else in the room tonight that has served as an elected official or is an elected official that will not be speaking as a candidate? Is there anyone else in the room? I'd like to recognize you as well.
Vice
Okay.
Mayor Elizabeth Simmons.
I was support to the city council.
Well, thank you so much. Would
And
you?
you all endorsed me twice.
So congratulations, all right? And I also wanted to make sure that I said a special thank you to our sponsors tonight. We have David Vick, who is running for Commonwealth Attorney in Chesapeake. So thank you so much. We'll be hearing from him. And then Felicia Storm, who's running for the 84th District House of Delegates. Please stand and be recognized. We'll also be hearing from her as well. All right. So again, I just wanted to say thank you for coming out tonight. And remember, tonight is about connection and not division. It's about learning, listening, and leaning into the issues that matter to all of us beyond party lines. So let's stay curious, respectful, and open to meaningful dialogue. In that same spirit, please remember that this evening is not a platform to demean your opponents, but an opportunity to highlight the values, priorities, and ideas you're bringing to the table. If remarks stray from your time, from that respectful space, we will pause your time, and that time will not be added back. That is from Mr. Taylor, okay? He made sure that I was going to remind you of that. So based on the time frame that we have and the time that we have remaining, we are going to give every candidate 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes. And I would like to make sure that you know who the timekeeper is, Miss Morrison. Great. Okay, so she's the one that will be directing you to tell you how much time that you have remaining. All right, so we will not delay any further. We are going to start with Daniel Stoller.
Hey, all right.
Thank you all.
Okay, so give him his.
Thank you all for having me tonight. Good evening. My name is Daniel Stoller. I'm running for the Chesapeake School Board to serve our students, parents, and educators. Forgive me, but I'm going to stay a little bit focused on what I'm reading here so I can make the 3 minutes. And I just wasted seconds in strengthening our future for the community. I proudly served 28 years and retired with the Chesapeake Sheriff's Office. I'm a father of 2. Daughter in public schools. She's a graduate. She teaches English in Virginia Beach Public Schools now. My son is a current student in Chesapeake Public Schools. He's a junior and he serves on the football team and the ROTC program. Education runs deep in my family. I have 2 brothers and a sister. Their spouses are all educators. So I understand both the promise and the pressure that they face every day. I proudly retired after 25 years of dedicated public service after serving in the Navy to the city of Chesapeake. I hold a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, a master's in executive leadership. I built my life on service, problem solving, and protecting our community, and that's exactly how I continue to lead on the school board. Safety's not a buzzword to me, it's a priority. I'll be diligent in our schools and secure every student staff member in addition to truly investing in mental health awareness for our schools. I also believe that education should never be a one-size-fits-all. I'll work to expand Chesapeake Career Center and ensure our students see the value of both college and trade skills. Our schools should inspire students to become the best. I'll advocate for parental rights and push for full transparency and move Chesapeake for families move to Chesapeake for the schools, and they deserve to know what's being taught. That said, I'll keep political agendas out of our classrooms and focus on core education, reading, writing, math, and most importantly, critical thinking. But say, 1 minute. All right, this isn't about me. It's about preparing the next generation with character, competence, and courage. I'm ready to serve with common sense, strong values, and unwavering commitment. I also believe in retaining, supporting, attracting, and retaining quality teachers and staff. I'll fight for competitive pay and address the salary compression so tenured educators aren't left behind, because strong staff means a strong education.
Yeah.
So I stand for our future. We're going to keep them educated. We're going to give them critical thinking skills, and we're going to stay focused on that education. So thank you for your time. I really do appreciate your all this for tonight, because this is great for having all these candidates come out and speak tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to mention, say thanks so much to Shanita Francis. She is our Vice President on the Hampton Red Blood Caucus Board, as well as Latanya Robeson, who you saw up front. She is our membership chair, and I'm Jennifer Franklin, your education chair. So next up, we actually have Nicholas Prophet, who will be speaking for Jason Miyares.
Thank you, Jennifer. As Jennifer said, my name is Nicholas Prophet, and I'm here speaking on behalf of Attorney General Jason Miyares. Jason Miyares likes to call his job as Attorney General his role as the People's Protector. And what the office does, 21 different legal sections that fall under the purview of the Attorney General's office, everything from major crimes to civil rights to consumer protection and so much more. And so in every one of those areas, he serves as the People's Protector. Through our major crimes and our initiatives on ceasefire, we have lowered the homicide rate in Virginia from an all-time high when Jason Miyares took office, or 20-year high, down to 30% down statewide, 66 crimes in Washington State. Violent crime is down 11% statewide. We have done that through a strategic partnership with local law enforcement, local prosecutors, federal partners, and community partners, focusing on not just prosecution, but prevention, intervention, and reentry programming. We have, through our One Pill Can Kill initiative, and in partnership with the governor's office, lowered the rate of fentanyl overdoses in Virginia by 47%, making us by far the best state in the country in the last 2 years. Half of the overdoses in Virginia have been cut down. We have all of our programs are really geared towards protecting the vulnerable, serving as the People's Protector. We have partnerships with the NFL on National Child ID kits for children, partners with law enforcement on seniors. We have a senior program that we partnered on, and protecting our seniors not just from elder abuse, but scams as well. So all of these things, all different ways, through our Civil Rights Division, we had the largest judgment in Virginia history on housing discrimination just earlier this year. So through all of the different ways, Jason Miyares has served as the people's protector and looks forward to your vote again this November to continue serving for another 4 years. Thank you.
Next, we're going to have Daniel Summerall, who is running for Suffolk Sheriff.
Good evening. My name is Dan Summerall. I'm running for Suffolk Sheriff. A little bit about me. I've been in law enforcement 26 years. I've done, all of this will be concurrent. I was Air National Guard. I retired with 24 years, 3 months. I'm sorry, 23 years, 4 months. I was a Portsmouth auxiliary officer. I was a bureau commander. I did that for 24 years, 5 months. And I've been federal law enforcement for 24 years come this April. So right now I'm working at the Veterans Affairs. I'm a sergeant. I'm a big proponent of education. I have multiple degrees. I'm married to my wife. I have 2 children. They went through the Suffolk public school system. So we made that our home. We're from Virginia Beach. We've been out there for 23 years now. So Suffolk is our home. So here's some of my ideas for it. One of my top priorities, if I get, is to place a deputy in each of the schools. 22 schools to put a deputy in each one. I believe that's the sheriff's responsibility more than the police departments, because the sheriff is elected by the people. They're accountable to the people. And the police officers, their job is to be out there running calls for service and take care of that stuff. Deputies are more responsible for folks' welfare, in my opinion, in the schools, more answerable. So I believe that's something that the sheriff should do. I know that the current sheriff has talked to city council, couldn't get the funding. I'm going to aggressively pursue federal and state grants to try to get that funding and alleviate some of that burden on the Suffolk taxpayers for a couple of years. So I think once it gets in effect and it's taken effect, the parents and the elected leaders will appreciate the benefits of it, and then maybe we can get city council to get some more funding to keep the program going. I also plan to establish a small traffic enforcement unit with a focus on key corridors like Route 460, 58, 17, and 10. Their mission will be simply to get people to slow down and make the roads safer, because we're the 5th fastest growing city in the state, and we have a lot of traffic problems. I ride 58 every day. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not slow. I go about 70, and people blow by me like I'm standing still. And that's just really, as a pretty much a lifelong cop since adulthood, it bothers me to see folks going by so fast. And then the rise in traffic fatalities in Suffolk. I think that having a dedicated 2 to 4 person unit that just solely focuses on those main corridors, it might be able to get the speeding down. And also those traffic cameras. As a cop, I don't like them. I think that having actual folks out there running the radar, writing the tickets, is more in line with our constitutional values, and having a camera take a picture of it, and you might not even be the one driving the car, and then you have to go through all that rigmarole. So I want to stand up a 2 to 4 person traffic unit. Additionally, I'd like to take the lead again on handling ECOs and TDOs, emergency custody orders, temporary detention orders. Take that out of the police's hands again, so that they can get out there and run certain calls for service. So if we're in there watching the ECOs and TDOs in the hospitals, that frees them up to go out and do calls for service, which is their main job. That's what they're best at. So that's what they should be out doing. They were doing it, and then that stopped. So I'd like to take that over and start that again, have them out there. So 15 seconds. Okay, 10-4. And eventually I'd like to take over Project Lifesaver again. That was started right here in Chesapeake back in 1998 by the last sheriff, Newhart. He started it. Now it's nationwide, and I want to take it back over for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, next up, we have got Victoria Prophet.
Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Victoria Prophet. I am the Commissioner of Revenue in the city of Chesapeake. I'm running for re-election. I enjoy being the Commissioner of Revenue very much. I served on the Chesapeake School Board for 10 years prior to this, chairman my last 4. So I have been in public service and an elected leader since 2012. The Commissioner of Revenue's office is very diverse. There's a lot of different departments in there that work in multiple capacities. I plan to continue to expand. I have expanded tax relief since I've been in office for our elderly and our disabled veterans, to be able, as Senator Sproul spoke before, to be able to help those in our city who are struggling, those especially the elderly and the disabled, because those are the ones that usually don't have a voice. And so I continue to work hard for them. I've actually started my own senior program since I took office and met so many that were in need. And so I partner with the Mount and several other agencies in the Chesapeake that helps give me money to give back to those seniors and those disabled that can't afford their taxes. We also make them holiday baskets every Christmas. My office kind of turns into a Santa workshop. We make them huge baskets with giving them all the things that they need, from toiletries to food to treats to Christmas gifts. So a lot of them don't have anybody. So this is kind of all they get, and they cry and look forward to it every year. I'm also very invested in the Commissioner Revenue Association. I am the current chair of the Hampton Roads Commissioner Revenue Association. I'm also the treasurer for the Commissioner Revenue Association for the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. So I take care of all the money for all 146 localities that are in the entire Commonwealth. I'm very vested. I'm very secure and work hard for our taxpayers, going to city council, fighting and putting in exactly what we need to serve our citizens best. As soon as I took office in January of 22, that's when, at the end of COVID, it was a huge spike in personal property taxes. A lot of people were struggling to pay those. I went to city council and got, with their approval, $26 million. And with that, I was able to give that back to our taxpayers and take a large chunk off of their bills, so that those that were struggling in 2022 before the assessments came down on your vehicles, we were able to help those that were really struggling. So I am your Commissioner of Revenue. I ask for your vote and your support if you live in Chesapeake on November 4th. And great to continue to serve you in the role that my office and I are doing so well. Thank you.
Next up, we're going to hear from AC Cordoza.
All right, thank you guys so much. I'm Delegate AC Cordoza. I represent the 86th district, which is Hampton, Pocosin, and York County. I've had the wonderful pleasure and honor of being endorsed by the Hampton Roads Black Caucus since I have ran from the beginning. So hopefully I could receive that endorsement again. Since I've been elected, I've gotten 14 pieces of legislation passed. I've gotten a little under $100 million extra dollars in budget amendments for my community. And all of the things that were just talked about by our local officials, all those things take money. And most of that money comes from the state. So what I've been doing is getting that money for our community and trying to make sure that every school has a law enforcement officer, and making sure that our sheriffs are able to, our sheriffs and our police officers have the right equipment, are able to do the job that we need them to do and get fentanyl off the streets of Virginia. Because the Attorney General does a lot of things, but he can't make law right now. So we can only make law, and that's what I've been doing, and I plan to continue doing that. We have done the Cody Alert, if you guys have heard of it. So far, it's saved the lives of 20 children. We're doing the work. I'm trying to do the work, and hopefully, I won't take up all 3 minutes. Hopefully, I can be endorsed again to continue that work and keep up the fight. So, thank you.
And this is a great opportunity to speak about the Hampton Roads Black Caucus membership. And I just want to say I'm so proud of being a member and being a part of the board. And we have pamphlets right outside the store if you are interested in being a member. As you heard from some of the candidates, we have endorsed many candidates who have a great success record of winning. And I just want to remind you that, being in a nonpartisan space, we engage directly with candidates, leaders, and issues without the filters or party messaging. That means you walk away with facts and not just talking points. And so if you don't want to just hear the news and want to become a part of it, remember, membership gives you a seat at the table, whether it's organizing events, hosting forums like this, helping inform policy conversations from a community-first perspective, just like Mayor West was talking about. So thank you again to all of those who have spoke. We actually have Wendy, and I'm going to, Dronker. I am so sorry, Wendy, but please come up and share your insight.
So I'm Wendy Bronker. I'm running for Chesapeake City Treasurer, and I'm here to ask for your support, like all the other candidates who will come after me and who spoke before me. I am happy to be here at the Hampton Roads Black Caucus because I am a true Hampton Roads native. I was born in DePaul Hospital, which no longer exists, but that's where I was born. I'm raised in Virginia Beach, went to ODU for my bachelor's, went up to the Peninsula, went to William & Mary for law school. Spoken to a sheriff's candidate. I worked in Newport News, and I've chosen to live and work in Chesapeake here now. I currently am an attorney. I've been practicing law for 23 years, and I've been the last 16 years serving as counsel to the treasurer of Chesapeake. I am part of the executive leadership team there. We have made quite a few changes in the office, but I'm most proud of the fact that I've been actively working with IT department on our tax modernization project for the last 3+ years. We are specifically designing this tax software to improve our experience with it, but also the citizens' experience with it. Once it's implemented, it will increase your access to your tax records, as well as give you way more accessible ways to make your payments. I see people from all over here, and you don't know the struggles we have in Chesapeake with our system. During my years with the office, I have developed an extensive knowledge of all the duties that the office encompasses. It's not just collecting the taxes. And I have proven relationships with the staff in the office. They come to me for guidance on taxpayers' issues, as well as those other departments throughout the city. IT, obviously, with this tax modernization program, the city manager's office, city attorney's office, real estate assessor, finance department, and especially the commissioner of the revenue's office. Our offices have a great working relationship. I think I can tell you that Victoria would be very happy if I was the treasurer that she got to work with continually. And I do have the support of the current treasurer. He is retiring and has fully endorsed my campaign. To go along with all that experience, I do have a sincere desire to be of service. I administer my church's Giving Tree program, which funds 1,200 gifts to communities in need, seniors and children. I got a 30-second mark, so let me just say. The tax modernization project is only one of the exciting upgrades we're working on. I hope to earn your support and your vote so that as treasurer, I can keep the momentum going with the change and bring you the office that you deserve. Thank you.
Next up, thank you so much. We have Joshua Clark, who is here for David Miles, Suffolk Sheriff. Joshua? Joshua Clark?
You're up.
Okay. You're up.
Walked in there.
There you go. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
First of all, a lot of familiar faces in here. Where was Lionel? Did Lionel?
Yeah, church.
Man, I haven't seen Lionel in forever. I am here on behalf of David Miles. He's a current sheriff and serving in the city of Suffolk, and he's running for re-election. I know I've only got 3 minutes, so I just jotted down a couple more points. David's been in the sheriff's office for 19 years. You know, from deputy to chief deputy. He's done it, you know, for 19 years, all over Hampton Roads. He regrettably wasn't able to attend tonight. He just had a prior commitment. It was one of those things that he wasn't able to make. But he's looking. Is this? Oh, it is working. Anyway, he wasn't able to attend. He'll be there on the 30th. He's looking forward to sharing his ideas and priorities, and you know, having a good dialogue about the issues that are important in the Suffolk Sheriff's Office. So one of the important things about serving as sheriff, and all of us ask this question about candidates that run in our own respective cities or communities or jurisdictions, is, are they engaged? Are they involved? How long have they been around? What do they do? Are they active? So a little bit about David, very short. In fact, it's, if I miss anything, just cross-reference the lit piece, but he's a board member of the Suffolk Foundation. He's a board member of the Suffolk Rotary Club, board member of the Suffolk Christian Fellowship Center, the Suffolk Humane Society, the Suffolk Salvation Army Advisory Board, and a past president of the Suffolk Education Foundation. He also founded the Suffolk Sheriff's Office Charities. There's a lot of names here, sorry. He's a member of the Virginia Sheriff's Association, a board member, and a board member of the Western Tidewater Regional Jail. His main priority is modernization of the Suffolk Sheriff's Office. There are a lot of things that are outdated. What's the first thing you should do when you want to modernize an office or an agency? Get it accredited, right? Well, David, under his leadership, Sheriff Miles, reached full accreditation for the city of Suffolk in their sheriff's office in its history. 30 seconds. I should have been up there with Steve. David's a guy. He's been the sheriff for a long time. He understands the issues. He understands what's important. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to butcher your name. I'm so sorry. Mike Lamonia. Mike Lamonia, currently on the
I'm going to try to go without the mic. We'll change it up a little bit. So I'm Mike Lamonia. I'm running for the House of Delegates in the 89th District in Chesapeake. That encapsulates the the 89th District overall. It encapsulates the Grassfield portion of Chesapeake as well through Deep Creek. It's about half of Deep Creek, the high school side, if you're familiar with that, Culpeper Landing, and then up through Western Branch, and then the southern part of Suffolk. So about Nathman Parkway south to Whaleyville and basically out west to Holland, so a wide scope of area. I'm married to my wonderful wife, Lane. Some of you may know her. We're both proud members of the HRBC, so I totally encourage sign up to this amazing organization. And we have 4 kids between us, which there are blessings every day. A little bit about my background. So I retired from the Department of Homeland Security after serving as a special agent for 26 years, about a decade of which I served as the executive over this region. Once I retired, I was elected to the Chesapeake School Board, which is what you just referenced. And then I was blessed to have been appointed by Governor Youngkin as chair of the Human Trafficking Commission for the Commonwealth. So I started the Human Trafficking Task Force back in Hampton Roads in 2016. It continues to thrive, and I'm extremely proud of that work and other task forces I set up in the area. So a little bit more about myself. We have deep roots in Western Branch overall. We've been there for a couple decades. All of my kids went to Deep Creek High School, as I mentioned, also in the district. And then we actually just moved to Grassfield to accommodate. I have a Down syndrome brother that I care for and I'm the guardian for, and I have an elderly mom who's going to be moving in with us too. So that's why we're moving to Grassfield. But the cool part as well is that my wife, Blaine, is from the district in Suffolk. So she was born and raised in southern Suffolk in the house that my in-laws still reside in. So we have deep roots all over. So why are we running, right? That's why we're here. So 3 things, got it. 3 things, right, that I want to focus on today. 1, I want to put more money back in your pockets, right? We want to reduce the costs on Virginia families. We want to get rid of the car tax and the grocery tax. I want to follow through on Governor Youngkin's ability and his desire to do so and the plan he put forward. Number 2, I want to make sure that my law enforcement brothers and sisters have the tools that they need to do their jobs effectively. We need safe communities. We need to make sure that our violent criminals stay off the street, and I will help do that. And lastly, I got it. We need great schools. We need to continue to have great schools throughout the region, and I want to make sure that we have the highest educational standards and we bring a regional trade center here to Hampton Roads. So with that, I humbly ask for your vote in November. Thank you for having us. Thank you for enduring the heat. I appreciate you all. And again, I'm Mike Lamonia, 89th District House of Delegates.
Thank you, Mike. Next up, we have Wallace Chadwick. Thank you, Wallace.
Thank you, guys, and thank you to the Hampton Roads Black Caucus for having us all here. This is a great event to have everybody in the same room talking about events. So again, my name is Wallace Chadwick, and I'm running to be the next Chesapeake Sheriff right here in Chesapeake. I just got off a very hard-fought primary, so some of you may have seen some Facebook posts and things of that nature. But I am a local candidate. I'm from right here in Chesapeake. born and raised in Indian River. I was actually born in Portsmouth. Lived there for 2 years of my life. I got a little in Portsmouth General, which is also no longer there. But moved out to Chesapeake. I've been here all my life. Went to Indian River Schools. Senator Sproul was actually my senator for many, many years. So I've known him for a long time. But I have 3 kids. My wife is in the very back somewhere back there. She's very short. But I have 3 kids. My wife and I have been married for 25 years. We have 3 grown children now. My oldest daughter is married to a United States Marine. I also am a United States Marine. Served after Indian River High School. Our oldest daughter is married to a U.S. Marine, lives up in Quantico. My middle daughter is a firefighter right here in the city of Chesapeake. And my youngest daughter is at James Madison University getting her education. She's in her senior year for college to be a school teacher back here, right here in Chesapeake. So we raised a family of service with our daughters as well. So after I got out of the Marine Corps, I joined the police department here in Chesapeake, where I've been for the last almost 26 years now. So my life has really been about service. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice administration. I've been on 2 federal task forces, one with the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, and the other one with the FBI. During my service, I'm the executive officer of the Special Operations Bureau in the city of Chesapeake. So I handle all the traffic stuff, the photo safe stuff, which is a lot of units. I also have all the maritime operations units for the city of Chesapeake Police Department. So I've done a lot of stuff in my days. Some of the things I want to do in the sheriff's office. Chesapeake has not had but 3 elected sheriffs in the city of Chesapeake since 1963. One of the main things that was proposed to me when I decided to run for this office was change the culture over there. When you have a closet and you shove stuff in there, things grow in there, things get lost in there, papers get shuffled around, and you really don't know what you have anymore. That's kind of the situation I'm dealing with Chesapeake. I need to clean that closet out. I need to pull things out. I ran on leadership, accountability, and transparency. And those are the things I'm going to bring to that office when I get in here after November 4th. I'm an unopposed candidate right now. I don't have anybody else on the ballot. So I would appreciate all of your support, what party you're with, for Sheriff for the city of Chesapeake. Again, my name is Wallace Chadwick, Chesapeake Sheriff. Thank you guys for your support.
All right, we have James Jim Cullen.
Thank you very much. Jim Cullen, I'm running for sheriff for the city of Portsmouth. Portsmouth people. All right. Born in Portsmouth people will take you too. So you're getting a parade of cops and people with law degrees and military veterans. So I'm not going to break that streak. So I've been a cop for 40 years. I have a law degree from Rutgers Law School, which would give you a clue. I'm a Coast Guard veteran, retired last October 1st. So the Rutgers part should give you a clue that I am from Northern New Jersey. So I started my career as a foot patrol police officer in Northern New Jersey, beat cop, under a program that was at the time new and revolutionary, which was called the Safe Neighborhoods Program, which meant basically that your job as a 21-year-old was to go out there and be responsible for several city blocks and know every single person on those several city blocks, know what was right, what was wrong. If something was a little odd, one time the bread delivery comes to Burley's Bakery, one time somebody's late if they're leaving for work, maybe we should go check on them, that kind of stuff. It's not what I wanted to be doing at 21. I wanted to be out there in car chases and doing all the high-speed stuff. I didn't understand the wisdom of this until later on in my career. But it was about rebuilding a community, which at the time, 1985, Northern New Jersey, the city I was in, which is on the other side of the river from New York City, was exactly like Portsmouth, Virginia is in 2025. The downtown has been, for a variety of reasons, been sucked clean by malls, by crime, by a variety of different issues. And it was the very thing that we were hired to do back in the day. So we were successful, my team of 4 people, in taking back the downtown and making it fertile ground for people to start bringing back in businesses, for residences, for schools to return to the area, for people to be comfortable out walking around. So simultaneously, I joined the U.S. Coast Guard. I became a Coast Guard federal police officer, which most people don't even know exists or existed, at least at the time, there in New York and New Jersey. That was my part-time job. My full-time job was being a police officer. But the morning of September 11th, 2001, my life radically changed because I got a phone call saying from my wife, Kathy, telling me to turn on the TV. And next thing you know, I was in New York City. And I was evacuating people from Lower Manhattan. I became active duty Coast Guard for the next 27 years of my career as a Coast Guard police chief, Coast Guard chief of sea marshals, and numerous other positions that took me all over the world. The short version of what I want to do here in Portsmouth, I've been volunteering for the past 10 years with the Portsmouth Sheriff's Office. It's time for the Portsmouth Sheriff's Office to get back into the law enforcement business and to assist the Portsmouth Police Department in trying to deal with crime before the crime occurs. To the left on the timeline, where right now they are down by 80 police officers, and the Portsmouth Sheriff's Office has chosen not to engage in patrol activities and not to assist with the types of things that we can do to try to save some of these young people's lives here in the city of Portsmouth. So Jim Cullen for Portsmouth Sheriff, thank you guys very much.
We're excited to hear from Francis Gerritsen.
Francis Jacobs. Thank you so very much. I have a beautiful accent, so you may have to listen very carefully. Okay. All right. My name is Francis Jacobson, and I'm running for sheriff in the city of Newport News. And I would like to say that I was very much honored when I got an email to be here and standing here and listening to experienced candidates and elected officials, give me a sense of hope and fresh air and fresh breath. Okay, and I'm from Nigeria, and I moved to the US in 2018. And while I was in Nigeria, I had an outreach organization that focuses more on talking to the prisoners. In Africa, we have prisoners. In the US, we have jail, and we have inmates, and we have prisoners as well. So we don't have inmates in Africa, so we have prisoners. And what we do was to go in there, talk to the prisoners, and educate them on IT related courses, so that once they are being released, they are productive citizens in Nigeria, in Africa. Moving to the US, I needed to replicate the same passion, the same ideology, the same impact that I accomplished while I was in Nigeria. The sheriff's office was the office I could work with to get that experience. So when I had my interview, I shared my background with them, and I told them what I needed to do. They told me no, that you can't be reintegrating and rehabilitating inmates. That my job is to give inmates food, give them towels, and all of that. So when I had a walkthrough with them in the city jail, I saw young people between the ages of 18 and 45, and my heart was broken. And I was asking questions: why are these young people lost to the cycle of incarceration and the criminal justice system? I discovered that 97% of the crime in Newport News are being committed by young people as well. And when I interviewed and spoke with these young individuals, I discovered that they lack a role model, one who will serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration. I spoke to our city managers, I spoke to the mayor, I spoke to everyone. Everyone I spoke to told me that we need a change. It is that call for change that fueled my passion to run for sheriff in the city of Newport News. And my goal is to prioritize proactive crime prevention over reactive punishment, to ensure that those who have made mistakes, they have the tools, what it takes to re-enter the society and become productive citizens. Thank you.
Francis Jacobson. I pronounced it right. All right. And by the way, I just wanted to mention that tonight we have a special for you. If you join tonight, it's $25 as a member. And remember, that means you get one vote to get our endorsement. at least one vote, because you can vote for yourself. All right. And then $50 for businesses. So again, we have our membership slips outside. We'd love for you to join. Next up, we have Steve Heretic.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having us. Real briefly, I'm Steve Heretic, and I'm running for Commonwealth Attorney in the city of Portsmouth. And just like you've heard from my friend Jim Cullen, Portsmouth has its share of problems, perhaps more than it should. Anybody who reads the papers, anybody who watches TV understands that a good many criminal cases in Portsmouth lately have gone by the wayside, not because a judge makes a bad decision, not because a jury doesn't follow the evidence. It's because a Commonwealth attorney makes errors of constitutional magnitude, which require these cases, some murder cases, to be dismissed. I was in court 3-4 weeks ago and saw one of these things myself, and I can tell you it breaks my heart. I started my career as an attorney in the Justice Department. I went to William and Mary undergrad, Villanova Law School. I got the clerk for United States District Judge in Philadelphia. Was hired into the criminal division of the Justice Department to start my career, and ended up 6 years later as a supervisory attorney. I ran, in my agency, in my office, I ran one of the busiest litigation dockets in the country. And I was a boss that everybody wanted to work for because I like law, and I like attorneys who practice it, but I want to make sure they're as good as they can be. And I want to make them empowered to do what they need to do. When I moved to Portsmouth some years ago to take a job here, coming out of the government, I served Elizabeth Simmons for 8.5 years on City Council. Followed that, I served three terms in the Virginia General Assembly. I worked with a number of you all in those capacities, and I passed some bills, including legislation to basically make it more expedient to change the Virginia rules of evidence to prosecute white-collar crime, identity theft, credit card fraud. I also, and my son really thinks I'm cool for having done this, was my legislation that eventually legalized marijuana in Virginia. My son's friends never thought I was cool until then. I've been a first-year trial lawyer for 35 years, and I can tell you that I never in a million years thought I'd be running for office again. But it has to be done, and it has to be done now. And I want to make sure that going forward, the Portsmouth Commonwealth Attorney's Office stands shoulder to shoulder with David Nick here in Chesapeake, with Ramin Fadahi in Norfolk, with Chris Stolley in Virginia Beach, because crime doesn't stop at city lines. And unfortunately, people have this joke, if you're going to kill somebody, they know where to do it now. That has to stop. What I believe as a prosecutor, I believe the same thing today that I did when I started. That it's not lock them up and throw away the key. It's to hold people accountable, no more, no less than they deserve. It's to preserve human dignity in that process, and to do the right thing every day and to be prepared. That's what I would bring to the office. It's as simple as that. I ask for your vote on November the 4th. Those 3 of you from Portsmouth that can actually do that. In the meantime, thanks for your years today. And if Lionel's still in the room, I want your check. Thank you. Yeah, he ran.
All right, Elizabeth, if you will please come up. I'm not going to butcher your last name. Is Elizabeth Seamus?
I'm not a candidate.
Oh.
She's not a candidate.
She's my ride.
Well, Elizabeth, you had it on for candidates. All right, Narendra.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Narendra Pliss. I'm the Commonwealth Attorney for the City of Suffolk. I'm running for re-election this year. I've been a prosecutor for almost 20 years this year, serving as the elected beginning in 2022. I'm sorry, yes, 2022. And so I just want to talk a little bit about what we've done and where we're headed. We have launched our Environmental Justice Initiative, which has allowed us to start prosecuting environmental crimes, which is not done pretty much across the state by any prosecutor. So we made that a priority because it does generally affect low income and minority areas. And that is a priority for us. We've also started our behavioral health docket, trying to divert those individuals who have crimes related to mental health to stop recidivating. They have to be connected to services, and we had our first graduate maybe about a month or so ago. People who came to that graduation said, that is a different young man. He was a completely different person, and those are from people who knew him. So those are the types of changes that we're making in the city of Suffolk. It's been very important to me to have community outreach. Prevention and education are important. Over my term, we've been out in the community on average every 2.5 days in some way, shape, or form, reaching our community in the city of Suffolk. Because I prefer not to prosecute people, but if they want to break the law, I'm perfectly fine prosecuting them, right? But in us bringing ourselves to the community, I instituted a lunch and learn to talk to our seniors about fraud and scams. We've also had conversations with the Commonwealth where I move across the city of Suffolk, go to Whaleyville, go to Bridge Road, go to Holland to talk about whatever the citizens want to talk about, right? I don't think it's fair that they have to come down to 150 North Main Street to have access to me. So I want to go to them. And that's what I've done over the course of my 4 years. My term has been about connecting with our community. Because again, if we can, my job is public safety. And if I can keep my people safe, I'm going to do whatever I can to do that. We all have also applied for and received a grant for Operation Ceasefire, which has allowed us to have focused crime deterrence. Our crime rates have gone down. And I believe that's because we are taking our time focusing on those individuals who are bringing guns and drugs into our city and stopping that so that it doesn't carry over, so that when you are at home, bullets are coming through your window. That is a problem. We don't have that in the city of Suffolk, and we will not, because we're using those resources carefully, going after the individuals who are bringing that to our community and not wasting our resources on smaller, lower level offenses. So I'm looking for your votes. I'm looking for your endorsement. And I, again, am here for anything that any citizen needs. You can call us at any time. We have a community outreach coordinator, and we're always happy to come out and educate, because you don't know what you don't know. Thank you.
And I want to just recognize really quickly, I just see that Bill Curtis and Audrey Curtis are in the room as well. They are also board members of the Hampton Roads Black Caucus, so thank you for attending and your service. All right, we have David Mick up next, who is also, again, a sponsor tonight, so thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me, and I want to say I was also born in Portsmouth at the Portsmouth Naval Hospital. I was born and raised in Portsmouth. I grew up there my whole life until I went to college, and then I went on to law school. And actually, it's very interesting because my first job out of law school was with Steve Heretic. So it's good to see him. Now, in 2008, I began my career in criminal law. I started at the Public Defender's Office. I worked at the Public Defender's Office for over 7.5 years, almost 7 years, until 2014, where I came to Chesapeake to prosecute. And I prosecuted under Nancy Carnes until 2021, and then I went on to serve at the AG's office doing special investigations, writs of actual innocence, and cold cases. Now, why am I running for Commonwealth's Attorney? I'm running for Commonwealth's Attorney because I think justice is important. I think it is important to have a Commonwealth's Attorney who has actually done the job before. Every city in Hampton Roads has a Commonwealth's Attorney that has actually done the job before in state court. Every one of them. The only city that doesn't have that is our current city. I'm running because I think justice is important. I think fairness is important, and I think you have to have that experience to be able to deliver that. I want to run an office that does not have murder convictions vacated because you didn't turn over evidence. You have to turn over evidence. A prosecutor's job, first above anything else, is to be fair. If you are not fair and you don't play by the rules, you aren't getting justice no matter what the outcome is. It has to be fair, and that's what I'll bring. Now, what's the other thing that prosecutors should do? I think prosecutors need to be active in their community. Community outreach cannot be a campaign talking point. It has to be an everyday thing. And why does it have to be that way? Because I think prosecutors, not only should they prosecute crime, they should work on preventing crime. And how do you do that? You do that by creating mentorship programs. You do that by being a part of your community and showing up, not talking about showing up, not talking about going to civic leagues, actually going to them. Coming into events like this to meet your community members, understanding what's happening in your community. And how else does that help? It's because it gives people buy-in into the justice system. Where I grew up in Portsmouth, off Turnpike Road, a lot of times people didn't want to talk to the police because they never came out and talked to us. I will be a prosecutor that does that. So when it comes time to go to court, people will trust me, and they will trust that I'm going to do the right thing because they will know me. That's why I'm running, because I think Chesapeake deserves better from its Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. And if you believe in real justice, real fairness, and real outreach, I ask that you support me. And after that, I use my last 15 minutes. I was at the Virginia. But what I'll say is this is a great organization. I was at the Virginia Beach Forum, and one question that was asked by me is, what can you do to help? You can join an organization like this. It's $25. Do it and participate.
All right, you didn't even ask me to say that. And again, the membership forms are right outside the store. All right, Felicia Storm, please come up and regale us with your ideas.
Although I also have a couple bullet points here, so I'm sorry if I'm looking down, but want to keep it to time. I'm Felicia Storm. I'm running for delegate in Suffolk. In Suffolk, Southern Isle of Wight, the city of Franklin, and all 312 people in that corner of the Pewsville precinct in here in Chesapeake, which Nicholas would never let me forget. And I'm excited to be running to represent my home here in Suffolk, mostly because I think we need people who are willing to look at common sense solutions first. A little bit of my background: I've lived a life of service. I'm a former firefighter and EMT. I've actually served 2 terms as a legislator before I was elected at barely 23, and had the opportunity to be the loud voice in a quiet room, speaking up for things because I really didn't know the rules enough not to. But I was still able to get really important legislation passed that helped people around their kitchen table, that helped people in their communities. And I know that that's where real solutions come from. It's not up in Richmond, it is coming around to the doors. I know door knocking isn't everyone's favorite, but the stories that I'm able to hear and be in my community and meet people that I've never gotten to meet before, because Suffolk is growing. It's quite large, and that provides me the opportunity to be a real voice in Richmond for my neighbors and for my friends and for new friends every day. A couple of the issues I'm really looking to work on in Suffolk, it starts with affordability. I know Michael Mooney already touched on this, so it might be a bit of a broken record, but it's cutting the car tax. If we take just a sixth of the surplus we're running right now, projected to have for the next 15 years, we're able to cut that car tax on everybody who's got a car less than $40,000. That is low income car tax, that is middle class families, that is working families like the one I was raised in, and that is money back in our pockets. It's the grocery tax. We're running a surplus. We really got to tax the food on our table. It's things like that that come at the common sense forefront that I'm looking to work on. And then down into our traffic and our infrastructure. I think everybody who's driven out to Suffolk and back knows that our roads don't quite match how many people we have on them right now. Also driving 58 every day a little too quick. And working on making sure that we can reweight smart scale, that we can look at Hampton roads, that we can look at how they're funding our infrastructure so that we have enough to be safe. It's 30 seconds. I'm gonna go back to notes here. It is going down to our schools and putting parents back in the conversation while still supporting our school teachers. I have 2 aunts that are Teach for America teachers and have lived some really interesting experiences, but have had that service. It's important to me that we have great education. And at the end of the day, it's not about left or right. It's not about party politics. It is about people. It is about putting forward solutions. It is about representing the community. And that's what I'm looking to do in the 84th.
And also, thank you so much for the response. We very much appreciate that. All right. And last but not least, we have Shannon Kendrick. Oh, and before Shannon comes up, I just wanted to say, Ms. Morrison, you've done an amazing job as timekeeper. So if everyone is and how she kept us on track tonight. And without further ado, Shannon Kendrick.
Thank you so very much. Good evening, everybody. It gives me great joy to be here with you guys tonight. Some of you know, some of you don't know. I was actually the founder of this organization. And so to be here for this many years after and see all the amazing leadership that's a part of this, y'all give yourselves a hand that this is the vision that we wrote when it first started. This is about bringing power to the people and giving opportunities for everyone who wants to serve to be heard. So I am here on behalf of my really good friend, Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, who I first learned about when I worked at Regent University. She made history back in 2002 when she won her delegate race, an unprecedented race. And I was like, well, who is this woman? I need to know about her. I see her history and everything about her, and I got to know her as an amazing, first of all, woman of God. And second of all, she's a woman about service. As many of you know, she served our nation as a Marine. That sister was a Marine, do you hear me? And that service has continued on. And she also served in prison ministries, women's ministries, just continuing to serve. And right now, I serve on her PAC for her campaign, and she's always looking for opportunities to give backpacks, to feed the poor, to just be with regular people. And that's what I love about her, because she's incredibly down to earth. The second most powerful woman in the state of Virginia wants to work at a soup kitchen in her free time. That says something about Winsome Sears. She's more than just a politician or an elected official. She's a public servant, a servant leader, and someone who actually cares. And that's why it's just amazing for me to be able to help her to secure this victory. Her being the first female Black lieutenant governor of the state of Virginia made history again. And while she was in this role, She brought Virginia, along with Governor Glenn Youngkin, from being third on the bottom to being fourth in the country for the best place to do business. And she wants to continue to make Virginia a great place to do business. Her being a business owner herself, her and her husband started an electrician company. They want to continue to grow and strengthen businesses. And also work on establishing strong trade schools, which is so important. Like, all of our kids might not want to go to a four-year college. There's so many opportunities, especially in our Commonwealth, to help have a wonderful career doing trades. So we really want to work to promote that. I made notes because I know I was going to run out of minutes, but I will just say this. Winsome cares. She's working to axe the car tax. She wants to make it more affordable for all of us. We need your support. We need to make history again. If Winsome wins, she'll be the first African-American female governor in the entire country. So help us to do that.
Thank you so much. And I just want to thank all of the candidates, all of you for coming out tonight. It's been a great event. Oh, okay, very good. And we're gonna do a question and answer.
All right, for all the law enforcement types, the question is mental health care. How will you incorporate it in your prospective places? Who wants to take that? Did you hear the question? Did you hear the question? Mental health. How do you intend to incorporate it in your prospective areas?
Yeah.
2 minutes.
So, many health. Yes. You probably are we all good?
Not you, Dan. No.
Mental health is one of the challenging situations in our city jail. And my team, we've been talking to community-based boards, and we've been talking to mental health specialists. I'm trying to see how we can introduce a more advanced diagnostic procedure for inmates doing intake. And this is what is really missing in our city jail. And to see how we can partner with individuals, experts, so our specialists in providing adequate care to these inmates. Not just that, but to ensure that once they are being released, there is a digitalized follow-up procedure where we can track their success record and their improvement to ensure that these guys, they are really on track and they are still receiving the help that they need. Thank you.
So along the same lines, the Chesapeake City Jail is fortunate enough, they have just extended their inmate capacity to incorporate a mental health wing in the city of Chesapeake Jail. But from a law enforcement perspective, mental health is one of the biggest issues we deal with on a day-to-day basis, whether that be on the street or whether it be in incarceration. Mental health has become huge in the United States for criminal justice purposes. And one of the things I believe is we should not be incarcerating mental health patients. They're not prisoners. They need assistance. And that's one of the things that we need to figure out what we can do. Because inside the jail itself right now, in every jail across the United States, there's mental health patients in there that have done some kind of criminal offense, and it's misdiagnosed as a crime rather than, now, people should, be accountable for their actions, correct. But what's the deeper root that we're looking at? Is it something that we can rehabilitate it, or is it something that's actual mental health issue that we can deal with? First, identifying the problem is first and foremost. But I really think that we need to, there's government grants that are available. Some people have already talked about that stuff. But I would like to continue that the Chesapeake City Jail has now with the mental health wing, so we can identify those problems and then decide what course of action we can take after that. So that's one of the things that I think.
Right. We don't really have a jail in Suffolk that the sheriff's department runs. We have Western Tidewater Regional Jail. What I was talking about earlier with ECO and TDO, that's typically mental health situations. People are having a breakdown, people are having a crisis. You might call because your child's having a crisis. They go to the police, get them, take them to the hospital. They get evaluated by doctors, and then they decide whether they're going to put them into a facility or not. So that's where I would want the sheriff's department to take care of that ECO and TDO. I would try to get those folks trained up like myself. I'm CIT certified. I work at the VA, So all day long, every day, I'm dealing with mental health patients, all day long. Almost every vet that comes in there to the ER is having a crisis, it seems. Lately, it's really sad. I myself, suffer from PTSD, but I don't have those sort of problems. I have trouble sleeping. These ladies and gentlemen, they're having a lot of real depression problems. They're having suicide, homicide, ideation problems. I'm dealing with that all day, and so I've really gotten, if I could say so myself, pretty good at it. My chief likes it, and I want to train folks to do what I do and do the ECO, TDO, take care of those folks while they're in the hospital. Maybe have them see something better, and then move from there. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'm not going to repeat a lot of the things that my colleagues have said because they're right on the money about all the things that we're discussing. One thing that's Portsmouth specific is we've recently taken over this large previous regional jail. There's a lot of space there which is underutilized right now. So there's opportunities there to create a homeless shelter, but also to incorporate mental health, not in a custodial way, but to have a facility that could be used, which is sort of a halfway between the two, gets people off the streets, but also as a central location. Right now, we see a lot of people who are, unfortunately on the streets of Portsmouth, and then they will go to to some sort of treatment, and then they'll wander back out again onto the streets. So giving them a place to live is important right now, and that's not happening. But the other thing, since we're talking about mental health, one of the things that's missing in law enforcement in general is mental health for law enforcement officers and a support system for law enforcement officers down the road. I'm a combat veteran. I lost friends of mine to suicide once they got home. And the military has a gigantic support network for military members. But I will tell you, having been in both locations, police officers, sheriff's deputies, law enforcement officers in general see more traumatic experiences weekly than most veterans will see in their career. That's just fact. I'm not being biased against one or the other, but there's not that support system. There's no VA for cops out there. There is no nationwide support system. So if you're like most cops who decide, I can't take this, I'm going to move to Florida, but there's nobody waiting for you like the VA would be waiting for you in Florida, or that kind of thing. So having support services for law enforcement officers, both proactive while they're on the job, will help them in their dealings with the public. Extremely important, so they're not snapping on members of the public, but also being able to help them once they retire from this job. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else?
All right, these are just my most recent observations. And Mr. Summer was correct. That the Suffolk Sheriff's Office at the City of Suffolk is actually certified a regional jail. What was the exact question again? Because I was standing out there.
Mental health, how do you intend to incorporate it in your position?
Well, that's kind of a tough lift. We talked about emergency protective orders and custody orders, but the Suffolk Sheriff's Office is already fully staffed. That's to handle civil processes, evictions, transporting juveniles to other areas in the Hampton Roads area for whatever it might be. Other initiatives that the sheriff's focused on. And if it's traditionally a law enforcement issue and the police department's already handling these protective orders, correct, and the custody orders, why convolute the process? These are just my thoughts. Why share the duties? Why if it's a monetary issue and a labor issue, why can't the police department address that if it doesn't already fall under the purview of the Suffolk Sheriff's Department? But it makes sense.
Thank you.
I get it.
All right, then David?
So the first thing with mental health is we have to understand that mental health is an issue in all communities, in every city, in every neighborhood, in every family. So as a prosecutor, how we address mental health is very important because if you address it properly, you can reduce recidivism rates, which further protects your communities. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is we need to have knowledgeable prosecutors that understand what mental health issues there are. We need to have prosecutors that actually read the pre-sentence reports, that read the bail detention sheets, that understand what diagnosis people may have. So one of the things you'll see, I didn't bring my palm card, one of the things you'll see is I say prosecute people to the fullest extent. Well, I've never been a politician before, and I found out that some people use that as a campaign talking point. But for a real prosecutor, what that means is you use every tool in your toolkit. And if that means treatment, you do that. If that means counseling, you do that. Now, one way I think we can really help the mental health issue is this. As a prosecutor, I believe your most experienced prosecutors need to be in the juvenile court system. And the reason for that is sometimes the first time we ever see anybody diagnosed with a mental health disease is when they come into contact with the court system, because they get the services that they've never had before. So you need your very experienced prosecutors in that court, because that's the first contact that we're going to have with these kids, and that's the first time we see the mental health issues or get a real diagnosis. So that's how I think we can really address it. If we address it early, like if you address anything early, you have a better success rate, and that's what I will do as the next Commonwealth attorney, is I'll make sure we address it as soon as possible.
Is there any other questions?
We do, but we don't have time.
Okay. Well, again, we have our membership forms out in the hallway. Ms. Robeson, if you want to raise your hand. And LaTanya is there in case you are interested in joining. And remember, that gives you one vote to our endorsement. And I just really want to say, thank you to all of our candidates and our incredible audience. Your presence tonight proves that civic engagement is alive and well in Hampton Roads. Remember, democracy doesn't end when you leave the voting booth. It lives in rooms like this, it grows in conversations like these, and it thrives when people like you show up. So thank you again for coming. Stay curious, stay involved, and let's keep the connection going long after tonight ends. And I'm going to finish with Miss Shanita to talk about our breakfast of champions.
Okay, so this year, that's just last year, my bad. August 23rd is our breakfast of champions. That is your last chance to chit chat the members up and get their vote, so that we can endorse you. So August 23rd, we also have this lovely book. This is last year's book, where we are selling advertisements. So you have full page advertisement.
Oh, look who it is.
You have quarter page advertisement. Oh, don't look at that, that's a full page. There we go. Quarter page, half page, a quarter page. Sorry about that. Half page, quarter page. So, if you're interested, let us know. But of course, we always want you to come to the Breakfast of Champions, because honestly, we're there to honor some trailblazers who are like doing great things in the community, and that's what we're really there for. But it's also your last time to chit chat the members up to get their endorsement. And that's all that I have. Ms. Karen, you want to talk about your organization?
Okay. Thank you so much. Really. Now that I've been a timekeeper, I know what to do. So you know what? I was so happy to be here today because I listened to everyone speak, and we have a nonprofit called Fighting for Freedom, and what we do is we actually help get people out of prison. And so the Commonwealth attorneys, I think I need to speak to one from Suffolk, because it's so important, law enforcement, for us to work together, because of course we believe in punishment, but we also believe in fair punishment. And I just want to say one thing. I know that I've been hearing people say inmates. We really don't use that word anymore. We really want to start to humanize our people, and so we've gone away from that. We can call them, I guess, a person that's incarcerated, a person that's in prison, but we're really trying to humanize our people. But I just thank everyone for coming out. Thank you for supporting our organization, the Hampton Roads Black Caucus. I am a member, and you forgot to say that I'm actually going to be honored. Thank you, I'm Trailblazer. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, Miss Shannon Kendrick, I'm going to put you on the spot, ma'am.
Oh, prayer.
All right, if you could do our closing prayer for us.
Always, I would be honored.
I know.
Thank you. We served on the school board together, me and this is my bestie. I love her so much. Okay, can we just bow our heads?
Father God, we just thank you so very much for the opportunity to be able to come together, Lord, in the name of being citizens in Hampton Roads, regardless of Republican, Democrat, Independent, undecided, or whatever. The people in this room care about this community, and the people who are running for office care about serving, Father. And Lord, we know that it's only you that can do that in the heart of man, to serve and to give for a fellow man. God, I pray that you bless every individual here and their families represented. Would you also bless this organization, Hampton Roads Black Caucus, and the work that it continues to do to bring people together. Lord, now more than ever, we need unity. And I thank you so very much that this place and the people represented here tonight represent that spirit. God bless them indeed. And Lord, thank you very much for all who serve and lead. And would you just continue to bless this endeavor? This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all. And one last mention, we have membership brochures out there. And thank you so much. Seriously, this is such an important opportunity to get in front of our audience. We are live streaming this, okay? So even though you might not see the audience completely in the room, they wouldn't fit anyway, but we are live streaming. So again, another shout out, please come to the Breakfast of Champions. That is your last opportunity before our final endorsement to be able to meet our membership. Thanks so much for coming out. Have a great night.